Hello. All right, we are going to work today on adding rational numbers. So you are going to complete in your Big Ideas book, which is linked on last week's Canvas page. Page 50, we're going to do a few problems. And then again on page 50, if you find activity 2, and page 52. So we're doing a few different pages from your book. Okay, so I'm just going to do 1 or 2 pages per problem. So this is kind of putting together a lot of different things that we've learned this year. So we know how to add decimals, right? We've got to line up our decimals. We also know how to add and subtract positive and negative numbers. So the first thing I'm thinking is this is an addition problem, and I'm adding a positive number to a negative number. So I'm going back to my rules of integers. Different signs find the difference. So I'm going to find the difference. I'm going to subtract. Anytime we're subtracting decimals, you have to line up your decimals. So the number with the greater absolute value goes on top. So the 3 4/10 goes on top, minus the 2 7/10 on the bottom. When you're subtracting decimals, that decimal is going to drop straight down. Now we're going to borrow from the 3, make it a 2, and the 4 becomes a 14. So 14 minus 7 is 7, and 2 minus 2 is 0. Now I go back and look to see, did I have more positives or more negatives in my problem? I had more negatives in my problem. So my answer is going to be negative 0 7/10. Okay, I'm going to go to the next page. So now we're looking at adding 2 negative fractions. So I've got negative 1 2/5 plus negative 4/5. Same sign, find the sum. Same sign, find the sum. So now I'm going to my rule of adding fractions. Write them vertically. So I've got negative 1 2/5 plus negative 4/5. Same sign, find the sum. So I'm going to add these together. They were both negative, so that's going to be negative 1 6/5. And that is going to simplify to negative 2 1/5. So let's scooch down here and do letter C. I have 2 negative fractions, the same sign, find the sum. Anytime I'm adding fractions, I'm going to rewrite them vertically. Two negative fractions, same sign, find the sum. So negative 1 and negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 2/3 and negative 1/3 is negative 3/3. So negative 2 3/3 is going to simplify to negative 3. All right, let's try this one. So I'm going to go to number 2. We've got negative 6 1/3 plus 20/3. That looks kind of weird. Negative 6 1/3 plus 20/3. So first of all, before we add, we have to make sure that they're both the same form of a number. So 20/3, so 20 divided by 3, that goes in 6 times with 2 left over. So that, I'm going to call that 6 2/3. That's going to be a positive 6 2/3. So I'm looking at negative 6 1/3 and positive 6 2/3. Different signs, find the difference. Different signs, find the difference. So the bigger number is going to go on the top, and the smaller number is going to go on the bottom. I'm finding the difference, so I'm subtracting. 6 minus 6 is 0, and 2/3 minus 1/3 is 1/3. And I had negative 6 1/3 and positive 6 2/3. So that answer is going to be a positive 1/3. Number 3, we've got 2 plus negative 7/2. So I'm going to cross out negative 7/2, and I'm going to rewrite that as negative 3.5. So you could say 2 plus negative 3.5, or you could say 2 minus 3.5. Both of those mean the same thing. So now I'm looking at my signs. I've got a positive 2 and a negative 3.5. Different signs, find the difference. Find the difference means subtract. So 3 minus 2 is 1. 1/2 minus nothing is 1/2. And in the problem, we had more negatives than positives. So that answer is going to be negative 1 and 1/2. All right, hopefully that gets you through the rest of the problems. Let me know if you have any questions. See you later.